Thanks for tuning in to the Diaphragm Dynasty. I'm back with another topic. And maybe a week or so ago, I started listening to Sisqo and Drew Hill, and I started thinking about the legacy of Sisqo, one of the most innovative and productive singers in the 90s, all the way from his Drew Hill days all the way to his solo career in the late 90s. But eventually the hits stopped, and we really didn't hear much from Sisqo. Now, Sisqo is one of those artists that has a discography or a catalog that most people don't really discuss as much until you hear like the thong song somewhere or something. But when you think about his Drew Hill career, he really didn't need a solo career. He could have been Hall of Fame off just that, because we know he was mostly Drew Hill. It was a couple of others in the group, but he's the only one that could stand on his own. He was the Jordan or the Kobe of his group. And when he went solo, he just proved himself even more to be even more of the member of the group, similar to what Beyonce did in Destiny's Child or what Michael Jackson did for the Jackson Five. It was a clear distance between, or a clear distance between the greatest person in the group and the next second best. Second best, you can argue whoever you want to, but the number one, you knew who number one was. And then at Cisco, when he left that group, he just got into a bag. Unfortunately, he only put out really two projects that you can say were top notch. But other than that, he transcended R&B, to take the pop world to the next level. Just become a pop star, with the platinum hair and the ballads that he used to sing. The thong song, like I talked about before, that put him in a whole nother stratosphere. That took him over to demos that he really wasn't a part of before when he was with Drew Hill. So that solo career was very important for him to get to the masses and for him to being able to transcend just R&B and just to get a huge fan base that he had back then. Um, Thong Song, Unleash the Dragon, Incomplete was all of the songs that he really needed. If he put all those songs in one album as a solo artist, he would have made it regardless. But with Drew Hill, he already had done it. I think it was just about proving to himself that he can do it on his own and show that he was a star, as most members in the group do. They try to go their separate ways to figure out who was responsible for the hits in the group. But nevertheless, people should have known. Obviously, it was Cisco because of his talent and just his superstar power. Some people just have that superstarness to them, and he definitely had that. Um, but I think at some point, the variables of the game got to him because if you don't play the game, which I wasn't able to find this, but if you're not able to play the game, as I always talk about, they can easily, shelve you or suppress your music and your talent. And I think that might have been what happened to Cisco because artists like, for example, a Taylor Swift is on the top of the world right now. And as long as she plays the game and doesn't challenge the system, she'll stay there. But Cisco is that example of, if you're not playing the game to the T like they want you to, you can easily be written off. But it's always as well as a what have you done lately? What have you done for me lately? Industry, as most industries are nowadays and have always been. But I think his catalog and his music will, of course, outlive his legacy. But in the most of the time, they don't appreciate you until you're gone. So I do feel like Cisco is one of those artists that'll happen to because some of the lot of his discography and a lot of his hits are up there with anybody you want to in the 90s. R. Kelly's, with the Ushers, with any other major artist that came out in the 90s, Jodeci, they had all of these different groups and artists, but he definitely stood the test of time. And I really don't see him much anymore like you did in the, early 2000s, late 90s. I seen him on an episode of Wild 'N Out, and I want to say I seen him on Vlad TV earlier this year or last year, but he doesn't pop out as much. I don't know if that's by design or it's because he was forced out by the industry. But he's definitely one of those artists that you're wondering why is there no biopic for Cisco? Why is there no documentaries for Drew Hill or biopics for Drew Hill? Because I'm pretty sure he has a story that needs to be told. Growing up in Baltimore, I'm pretty sure he came up kind of rough and he had some things that he had to overcome to be able to make it to the star that he was, especially singing in Baltimore. Pretty sure he didn't he was probably picked on and stuff like that, growing up in the inner city singing, and he was always different from most, and he's not, he's somebody who stands out and doesn't fit with the crowd. So it'll be nice to see if they do come out with a documentary or biopic for either Drew Hill or Cisco. Down to see either one of those, but he's phenomenal. I've seen him in person in 2015 in St. Louis, doing a concert with him solo and with him with Drew Hill, and he was phenomenal. He sounds even better in person than he sounds on TV. So he still has the talent and everything, but for some reason he's been suppressed or he just doesn't do music anymore. But it's definitely interesting to know which one it is. But he's definitely has a story that needs to be told, and he resonated with a lot of fans during his era and his prime time times with as a solo career and as with Drew Hill. So tell me what your thoughts are about Drew Hill as an artist and why you think he's not producing music anymore or making music anymore. And until next time, I'll see you next time.